where President Museveni came up to preach against tribalism, and we know that the conversation on tribalism has been ongoing. Chris said that we should say, my name is LATIFA HAMID and I am a Uganda hashtag, and that's what everybody else should be saying right now, and not that I am a Nubian or I am a Uganda, and that's not how it's supposed to be. And Museveni fronted that yesterday. Let's look at that footage and then we'll be back.
NRM party flag bearer and presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni took his campaigns to the BUGISHU district of Sironko, where he met with delegates from Sironko and Bulambuli. These areas have been heavily affected by floods and landslides. Upon arrival, Museveni was welcomed by leaders of NRM from BUGISHU sub-region, who asked the president to help relocate them from the disaster-prone areas to safe zones.
First on the list is the resettlement plan, which they are requesting, and this was also re-echoed in the other districts, that the people at risk.
While addressing the people of BUGISHU, Museveni emphasized that he will not allow any form of destabilization of the country, revealing that the government is well equipped to quell any riots.
Those that were attacking people with NRM uniforms, I said very soon they will lose appetite for attacking that uniform.
But yeba balikukuba batu bagwatiye yelo ngefe kuliano alomati mubaleke busenyange no langa ke gomba ni kuula mata asire kon adumeni gumukoneso mutu wa yeloda.
Because I was sure we have the structure, we have the capacity to stop any trouble in the country.
Earlier in the day, the Umukuka of Inzuyamasaba, Wolgosi Jude Mike Mudoma, who is also the cultural leader of the BUGISHU people, arrived at the venue of the campaign meeting, where he spoke to journalists explaining why he chose to attend today's presidential rally.
Whoever comes within here is my subject. So His Excellency the President is still a sitting president, and he has visited my area. It looks obnoxious for me not to be available to welcome in my land.
The Umukuka also requested the government to fulfill the pledge and promise that was made to the kingdom of BUGISHU.
So we want government to take it seriously, that we develop that cultural center at Mtoto, where these cultural activities normally take place. And also, we have a lot of potential in tourism areas. We have a lot of caves, but we need roads to reach those areas so that we can actually, when tourists reach there, we shall tap from them.
According to some of the leaders in BUGISHU, NRM is still a powerful party, but there is a lot that needs to be done to secure a victory.
So as a leader, I don't think we have failed. We have, for example, seed schools that have come in, of course, one by one. So the word failure does not apply in this.
The NRM flag bearer and presidential candidate Yoweri Museveni has today concluded his rallies and campaigns here in BUGISHU sub-region. The president will now proceed to Sebei sub-region, where he will be campaigning in Kapchora district. For STV Select News, I'm Suhail Mugabe.
Mugabe is on the team of Museveni. He's moving with Museveni everywhere that he goes. We have Shamira Nagawa, who is moving with the FDC personnel, AMURIAT'S boy, and all those people are there to bring you a 360 coverage of what is happening in these different camps. And then we also have someone in NUP. Now, all that is because we want to bring a fair coverage of what is happening around the political season. People, we have talked about tribalism before. Yesterday, the Bailanwaranda came up, and it brought us into the discussion of what tribalism is and what tribalism means if it's mixed up with politics and religion and culture, and how these are dangerous fields to tread in, especially if you want to save the lives of your people. As we're moving into a different conversations, I'm with Chris and TARIK, you could chip in a little bit and tell us what you're learning from Museveni's campaigns and vis-a-vis the opposition.
Well, first and foremost, I'm trying to imagine if we had the full-blown campaigns whereby we dance to the tunes of the Kadodi, we dance to the tunes of the trending songs, how all campaigns have been usually. I'm trying to compare with how NRM supporters are saying that they cannot do or they can't go on ground without being facilitated. And here we're seeing other camps where people are freely doing campaigns without demanding any compensation or without asking for any fee. So I'm trying to imagine how those campaigns would be. Yesterday we did a story. I think President TARIK Museveni was in Bali, and we had youth saying that they need to be facilitated for them to go on the ground and mobilize NRM supporters. But I think now leaves me to a thinking that NRM supporters have become patronage to the party. They have lacked that zeal to do something willingly. They are not being patriotic enough to do something better for their party. So I'm trying to imagine that question keeps running into my mind. Even mobilizing supporters or voters, betaga sente chikola. Chitegeza NRM is losing out on the majority of its supporters. I tell you about mu camp endala, abantu bagenda freely. People are sending out the message for free. Abala bagenda ku rallies for free. So I imagine how those campaigns would be.
Ya omanyi NRM yazimba NRM yenyini yazimba pate yayo ngejizimbire ku sente. Kubanga I remember very well ne mwaka guno nga onakuru youth day president yalina speech yayogera ko na yasinga nabukomeza bavubuka mu State House Entebbe. Mu bigambo yagamba bavubuka nti first of all basoke bakole nnyo. Ndemana kujja mu politics. Kubanga takyayagala mwavu mu politics. Kiba kitegeeza ki? Ndi politics sente. Kati omuntu wa NRM akolaga nti nno ye chairman mwennyini wa NRM agambye takyagala mwavu mu politics. Ayagala bajenga balina kuki? Kutegeeza naye bwagamba tazemu kola okusubira sente. NRM tugirabenga yo ever spending us wetubanga campaigns oligwa bwekiti olaba sente za spending ze mukalulu ako. So ebintu eva bitambira ku sente. Nagambye nti NRM singa chairman wa yagamba nti ajje sente mu kibiina oba ajje sente mu activities za NRM. Tasigaza bamugoberera. So abambali lwaki kubanga twalabe n'okulaba nejjoera abavuka ba NRM bavudde yabeyiganga. Ne bakwata t-shirt za NRM ne bazoocha. T-shirt ziliko ne Museveni. Ne bazoocha. Ne bakwata poster za Museveni ne bazoocha. Ne bakwata t-shirt ne bazoocha kubanga bagamba tebawa sente. All they want balinda sente. Nabagambye omuntu asinga okumisinga kalulu kanene kyovala teba crowdinga. Museveni lwaki ozatalina crowd because there is no money. NRM yesinga omumisinga kalulu kanene. Bobagala full ball. So
singa tugenze mu kalulu kali kenyini.
Wanirabyenga buli mwavu. Tiwali baddewo bantu because there is no money. Singa sente zifuluma katujja kulaba abantu babeka ne abaana bakutte t-shirt za NRM eziliko Museveni ne posters ne babyocha
social media ebitrendinga nga guy oba yali bebe kulo oba yali ani nga afukamidde wansi abeginga omuntu okwambala t-shirt ya
yero bye tutuuse kanti.
But here's the question that I've always wanted to ask is that does the crowd determine the votes that you get on the day of the polls is a big question, because I will always refer to the politics of the US. Donald Trump had crowds.
No, but in electoral colleges.
And what happened was, even without electoral colleges, we saw during the time of voting and casting that vote in particular, people voted for Biden. So it's a question that
literally you're castigating electoral commission. Crowds don't determine elections in this country. Chitegeza abantu basalawo the electoral commission
no, it's not that. That's not what I mean. But majority of the people who are in those crowds don't have national IDs. Majority of them are not in the voters register. They didn't go when they were being registered. So majority of them are what my producer Shidi would call pikereri. So they make the noise, but on the day of casting the vote, tebaliwo. And here I'm coming to a place where I'm calling upon whoever is going to those rallies to ensure, just like Chagulani says, that on that day of casting the vote, you're there, you cast the vote, you protect your vote to the end. So that way, Tuka, to the time of counting votes, Toga and Babuno, what they have cheated when you didn't even cast your vote.
Because I've had contenders say that after casting their votes, they should stay around to guard their vote. Nyate polisi jagamba temwetaaga kubeera wano eno kuŋŋaana. So eno tukisuubire kuba akalulu, we should expect chaos.
But that's why you need to choose people. How do they call them? Polling agents? Yes, you need to choose polling agents who are very strict and they're able to make sure and find out why mbalaba mukola chino mukola chichi. Once you have that, they'll be protecting you.
Another thing, the kind of audience that votes. You once. You the corporates don't.
We don't.
But going back to nsonga LATIFA jayogaddeko ya crowds nze. Sometimes all crowds wezi determininga. Otwenda nakatinga mukalulu tubadde akaluka bavubuka ngolaba nti abantu basobola kubeera nga bazze they are going to vote. Ne asinga Chris tutangira okusoma nga tusimba line. Kulanyo nikwenda abantu 10 mulundi gumu. Namayinza gaba omusajja ono alina abantu banaye kanzira eri because of just naye olwo ebitakolera naye nga sometimes kakola. Ekirala ekyokuba nti nno abantu tugenda kubanga tulonda ate batugambe tuve obviously police ajja kwekwasa nti twabagana tebali nkuŋŋaana era balina okutudispersinga. So abantu bakitegekere ekyo kirina okuba nga kijja tuleme kubeera nga tuteekawo waliwo ebintu bigenda okujja gye tuli naye nga tube nga tubisuubira kireme kuba nga kijja nga surprise ate tukozesa amaanyi amangi bagambiddeyo tebagala bantu kuŋŋaana so olunamala okulonda kalulu kuba olina okuvaawo.
Chris, take us through to the
well, still speaking about